I'm Chef Kelly Yorke, and this is Therapeutic Cuisine. I specialize in designing recipes that include medicinal ingredients that target and alleviate various common human health conditions. Today we're going to focus on prostate health. Obviously I don't have a prostate, but I know and love very many people who do. There are two kinds of prostate problems. One is the enlarged prostate and the other is prostate cancer. Today I'm going to start out with making a mustard seed crusted Arctic char. Arctic char is very similar to salmon, so you can use either fish. And this is a very simple recipe, and it's very targeted to being helpful for prostate cancer. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of Arctic char and season it with a little salt and pepper. Arctic char is a cold water fish. It's high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are very beneficial to helping ward off prostate problems. And next I'm going to use some Dijon mustard to make my crumb topping. In the bowl goes mustard and olive oil. And olive oil's, again, another wonderful oil full of omega-3s, and some panko breadcrumbs. I'm going to mix that around and make a crumb topping. This can't be much easier. It's a very quick recipe to make, and it's very beneficial for prostate health. After the crumbs are mixed, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that on the top of my fish. Pat it down a little bit. It will stick to the fish. It's going to bake on and adhere to the top like a crusted topping. Next comes pumpkin seeds. Now, pumpkin seeds are full of all kinds of wonderful components that help reduce an enlarged prostate. When the prostate is enlarged, it squeezes against the urethra and it impedes the flow of urine. Pumpkin seeds are rich in beta-sitosterol, and that helps decrease the size of the prostate. So pumpkin seeds is something, if you have prostate problems, you want to eat them for snacks, put them in any kind of food that you can think of. The other ingredient that's very beneficial for prostate health is pomegranate. Pomegranate juice, pomegranate seeds, put them in anything and everything you can think of. So we're going to put the pumpkin seeds on the top of the crumbs and press it down a little bit and then just drizzle with eggs. Eggs are high in B vitamins, and B vitamins are also very beneficial to keeping a healthy prostate from becoming cancerous or enlarged. So I drizzle the egg over the pumpkin seeds, and that helps everything kind of glue together as it bakes. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven at 425 for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'll come back and we're going to start making a pumpkin and chickpea puree. Okay, my Arctic char is in the oven and baking. I'm going to make a pumpkin and chickpea puree. I love to make this to use as a dip for chips, or it makes a wonderful spread on sandwiches. You can thin it out and use it as a sauce to top grilled meats or vegetables. Just a lovely recipe. And it's also a wonderful therapeutic type of recipe for prostate health. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about tempeh. Tempeh is something that you see the vegetarians eating a lot of, and it's made from fermented soy. Soy is a little controversial right now in the testing of, is it good, is it bad, is it beneficial? What we do know that is consistent with tests is that fermented soy is not only great for prostate health, but it's also great for menopause. So I'm going to go ahead and start crumbling up this tempeh. And it looks like a block of pressed soy grains, which is really what it is. I'm going to crumble it up and put it into my food processor. When I make this dip, you don't see, it's going to be a puree, so you don't see the grains. It's going to be blended up. It has a very buttery, rich flavor when we're finished with the dip. So, okay, there it is crumbled. It's real easy to break up. And I'm going to put that into the bowl of my food processor. Next, I've got a pan here that's heating a little bit, and I'm going to add some almond oil. Almond oil is wonderful to cook with when you're sauteing because it has a high smoke point. It's high in vitamin E and magnesium is a wonderful mineral that is beneficial for all kinds of diseases and deficiencies. Now I'm going to chop up an onion and saute it real quick. It doesn't need to be a fine chop, just a rough chop for softening it up in the pan. And then it's going to go into the food processor and be blended with all the other ingredients. I just like to give it a quick saute so that it doesn't have a raw taste to it in the dip. Next, I'm adding some garlic, and garlic is known to help decrease an enlarged prostate. So we just want to give that enough time to soften up the onions. That aroma of onions and garlic can't be beat. Now this recipe is high in isoflavones, and isoflavones will, and that's rich in the soy particularly, and in the garbanzo beans. They're particularly helpful with decreasing an enlarged prostate. A hormone that increases the prostate is called dihydrotestosterone, BHT. The isoflavones are very good at decreasing the BHT levels, and that helps decrease the size of the prostate. Okay, in go the onions. Turn off my flame here. And next I'm going to add chickpeas. Chickpeas again are full of isoflavones and fiber, a wonderful ingredient to cook with for prostate health. And then here is my favorite. I just adore pumpkin in any form, shape, size, season, whatever. High in beta carotenes and vitamin A. Hopefully this will fit. And then I'm going to season that with a little bit of cinnamon. And then a little nutmeg. I'm going to get that top on and give it a little pulse. You might need to open this up a couple times and give it a stir just to get those top ingredients cycling down to the bottom. I like to get this nice and smooth. One more stir here, I think. This is a pretty soft dip, but if it's a little tight, you can add a few drops of water, and I think I'm going to do that. If you want to thin this out and make it a sauce, like I said before, for grilled meats or vegetables, go for it. I keep this in my refrigerator all the time, so that I can use it for sandwiches. Okay, we're looking good now. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that into the bowl, and I'll talk a little bit here about what to do with this pumpkin. Pumpkin is, again, an ingredient that you want to try to work into as many recipes as you can when you are concerned about prostate health. Pumpkin seeds can be used for snacks, and there's two kinds that you'll see if you want to buy them in the grocery store. There's a toasted pumpkin seed where the hull is on the seed, so it's kind of crunchy and you have to crack it in your mouth to get to the inner seed. The inner seed is called pepitas. Pepitas are a green seed that looks like a large sunflower seed. Pepitas are great to use on top of muffins. You can put them into cakes. I love to make pumpkin pancakes and put the pumpkin seeds in the pancakes so I have a little extra crunch. Also, again, an ingredient that you want to use for prostate health is many forms of pomegranate that you can swallow. Juice, the pomegranate seeds. I'm going to show you a little later in the next recipe how to cut a pomegranate. A lot of people see it in the grocery store and just walk right on by. It's a wonderful vegetable that is in season in the fall, and you eat the seeds. It's very funny looking when you open it up because it's not pulpy like a orange is. The pulp is around each individual seed. So the seeds are also very good and high in fiber, and the juice is excellent for prostate health as well. So our dip here is wonderful for, as I said, using as a sandwich spread. I keep it in my refrigerator, and whenever I make a sandwich, I go ahead and slather it on. It's wonderful on a turkey bacon sandwich. I love to slather it on and then maybe add some arugula so you have a little bitterness, because this is very buttery in flavor. It's the best way I can describe it. That wonderful pumpkin that is so mellow and rich, and the tempeh blended up gives it that buttery feel in the mouth. It's a wonderful dip. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the refrigerator, and then I'm going to make a quick pomegranate salsa to go over our Arctic char. Okay, the fish is in the oven baking now, and we just made a pumpkin puree, and we're going to make a pomegranate salsa right now. Pomegranates are wonderful fruits for prostate health. They're native to India and Iran. We grow them very prevalently now in California. And one of the things I often get asked is, how do you eat one? How do you cut it? What do you do with it? So I'm going to go ahead here and show you how to cut a pomegranate. This is what a pomegranate looks like. A lot of people will just pass by in the grocery store. They're in season in the fall here in the United States. And if you see them, really go out of your way and buy one. To cut a pomegranate, you're going to take your knife and cut around the radius of the fruit. And you're not going to cut all the way in, just a little bit in towards the pith. And then I'm going to twist in opposite directions, work it a little bit, and open it up. There's the arils. They are the seeds with the pulp that surrounds it, that has the juice. Now you can take the seeds out. I'm going to show you how to do that a quick way anyway. It's kind of messy no matter what you do, but it's least messy if you use the water method. And the water method is taking your pomegranate and burying it in the water and just pulling it open and pushing the seeds out. The seeds are going to drop to the bottom, and all the pith and the things that you don't want will either float to the top, and you can skim it off. And this takes a few minutes to do, and as I do it, the seeds are dropping to the bottom, and it's keeping my cutting board a little cleaner. Oh, I just want to eat these. And pomegranate seeds, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful at Christmas time. And they're still in season then. That red can be just beautiful on top of the fish. I'm going to make a salsa because salsas are quick and easy to do, and it leaves the fruits and the vegetables that you use in the mix very identifiable, and it's fresh. I always have a salsa of some kind in my refrigerator. You can vary the fruits and vegetables that you use in your salsa. Okay, so that's the first half. I'm going to throw the second half in, and again, you just pull it apart. Look at all those beautiful seeds. Sometimes a whole section will come out at once. Again, this is back to getting your hands in your food. It's all about touch, feel, smell, all those senses. You can also go into some grocery stores and they will actually have the pomegranate seeds available already cleaned. Definitely buy them when you see them. They're worth it. We're almost there. These seeds are about a medium size. Sometimes I see them really big and plump, and sometimes they're not quite as plump. I guess it's like anything else. It depends on the local growing conditions, how much water you've had, rain, what the soil conditions are like. And as you can see, the seeds have now sunk to the bottom, and I can take the pith and just skim it off the top. And then we're going to drain the water off or just pull the seeds out. Look at those beautiful pomegranate seeds, nice and clean. I'm going to grab a bowl and now make the rest of my salsa. There are no specific measurements here that you need. It's a very personal thing. How much jalapeno you want, how many onions you want to put in your salsas. This is obviously a pomegranate salsa. I think that'll about do it. Okay, we're going to cut up some onion. I like to use red onions when I make a pomegranate salsa. And you want to have whatever size kind of fits the fruit chunks that you have. It can be bigger, it can be smaller. It's a personal preference. I'm just going to give a little bit more chop here to my onions. Red onions have anthocyanins in them. They're full of quercetin, and they're from the allium family. All the vegetables in the allium family, like the scallions and the garlic and the onions, very, very healthy. In that goes. I'm also going to add some chopped tomatoes. I've got them rough chopped here. I'm going to give them a little bit more of a chop. Tomatoes are full of lycopene, and lycopene is very beneficial for prostate health, especially when the tomatoes are cooked. Cooking the tomato actually condenses down all the good nutrients and takes out some more of that water content, so you get a more concentrated pack of the good stuff. I'm going to add a little bit of chopped jalapeno. Now, jalapenos are in the pepper family. They're high in vitamin C. Vitamin C is very helpful for keeping cancers at bay. Eat a lot of vitamin C. It also helps your immune system. Lime juice. Lime juice is wonderful in anything that has a southwestern flavor to it. It just brightens up all the taste. Garlic. Garlic is helpful in slowing the rate of cancer growth, and it's full of quercetin, and again, it's in the allium family. Now, cilantro is one of my favorite herbs. Cilantro is helpful in the detoxification of metal poisoning, so it's great to pair with fish that are high in mercury. So in goes the cilantro. And finally, I'm going to add a little pepper. I like to add pepper and hold off on the salt until after I taste things, so that I can really try to keep the salt intake down. So many fruits and vegetables have a natural amount of salt in them, and the less salt you cook with and eat, the more sensitive you get to it. So it's a good thing. So the less salt you use, the better off you are. And you get addicted to it, and you just want to eat more and more of it. So go very light-handed on any of your seasonings with salts, and use other things such as the acids like the lemon juice in its place. Or you can use salt substitutes like potassium chloride, or Mrs. Dash's is a very good substitute. Just amp up the amount of herbs that you use. I'm going to go ahead and give this a taste to see where I'm at. Perfect. No salt necessary. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the refrigerator and then set up to make a cereal soak that's made with pomegranate juice. Okay, now we're going to make a muesli cereal and pomegranate juice cereal soak. I love to make this before I go to bed at night because it soaks all night and then it's ready in the morning. Just scoop it into a coffee cup or your cereal bowl and you're ready to go. I love muesli. Muesli is a little different than granola in that it is not baked. It's grains and nuts and dried fruits, but they're not coated with sugar or syrup and then baked in the oven and toasted. It's very natural, and there's not extra salts and sugars that are added. So to go ahead and start making the cereal soak, you're obviously going to go and put some muesli in a bowl. I'm going to start with about a cup. And next, I'm going to add pomegranate juice. Pomegranate juice is an excellent ingredient for prostate health. It actually helps in reducing those cancer cells from growing. So a process that's called apoptosis is when cancer goes amok. Your cells grow and there is a life cycle, a beginning and an end. And when they don't die off and just start to grow, that's what cancer is. It's the cell growth going amok. So that process called apoptosis, which is the cells know when to stop growing, doesn't happen. The pomegranate juice helps in aiding the cell to know that it's time to go. And so we're going to put the pomegranate juice in with our muesli. That's why I call this a cereal soak. And then we're going to add Greek yogurt. Now you can use any flavor that you like. I particularly like to use the plains. I don't like the extra sugar added to any of my yogurt. I will, however, recommend that you can blend in some vanilla beans. Vanilla beans, especially when you take the real vanilla bean, like a Madagascar vanilla bean, split it open and scrape out the seeds, because then you can see the seeds. When you use vanilla extract, you're not going to see the seeds. Anytime I see vanilla seeds, I get excited personally. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my vanilla plain Greek yogurt. Now Greek yogurt is just basically yogurt that has been strained. So it's not as watery as a typical yogurt is. I'm going to give that a stir so it's nice and opaque throughout. Now it looks a little watery. This is going to soak overnight, and that muesli will plump up and make a thicker concoction. I'm also going to add fresh berries. Now you want to add berries like strawberries and all those blueberries, blue colored fruits, blackberries. They're full of anthocyanins and they're wonderfully healthy for you. They have polyphenols. Give that a good stir. Already, I would eat it now, but I would like to let it sit overnight. Okay, so this needs to soak overnight, but I've got some already in the fridge, so I'll be right back, and then we're gonna present all 3 dishes. Okay, here we have it, 3 prostate health recipes. We start out the day with a pomegranate and muesli cereal soak. I'm actually going to finish plating that up because I'd like to suggest that you serve it out of a parfait glass or something that's really fun and decorative. So here we have our pomegranate soak, and what happened is the cereal absorbed all the moisture overnight, and we have a thickened cereal soak that I'm adding to the glass. Now I like to layer it with more fresh fruits and vegetables. Strawberries, for instance, are great with the lactic acid, and the pomegranate seeds, you could add those always. Blueberries, anthocyanins, all the wonderful blue fruits, blackberries, raspberries. So you go ahead and just ladle, spoon, plop, whatever you want on top of that soak. You can actually layer it again with some more Greek yogurt. The taller the glass, the more beautiful, or here I have a martini glass. So go ahead and spoon that in, maybe top with fresh mint or peppermint. I have a peppermint patch that I grow outside my front door, and I use it all the time. It actually lasts well into the winter because it's near the house. So there you have it, a pomegranate and muesli cereal soak. Next, we made a pumpkin and hummus dip that is full of pumpkin oil and pumpkin puree. Pumpkin is so good for prostate health, and surround that with fresh cut vegetables. Your cruciferous vegetables are wonderful in the prostate diet. They are full of sulforaphanes that help with reducing cancers, and that crunch, it works wonderful with that buttery smooth dip. Finally, we finish with an Arctic char that is crusted with a mustard crumb and pumpkin seed crust. We're going to serve that with a cruciferous vegetable and a whole grain rice. You want to eat a diet that is rich in whole grains. All of the anti-inflammatory type foods are wonderful for prostate health. So you want to stay with lean poultry and fish, omega-3s, olive oils, nuts, fresh fruits and vegetables. Really pump up the fresh fruits and vegetables. We're going to finally put a spoonful of the pomegranate salsa that we made, and that is a beautiful topping and ending to the plate. The colors are gorgeous, and It's very healthy and delicious. So I'm Chef Kelly Yorke, and this is Therapeutic Cuisine. And as the father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. We'll see you next time.